Okay, let's quickly take a look at the first topic for discussion, talking about insecurity. I mean, for years, we've been talking about the security situation in the country. And in the past 1 year, if not more, it's become worse. At its peak, we've never had this, had it this bad. Of course, in the means, for scrambling for solutions, we've called for some people's head, the service chiefs. Maybe if you change them, things will work, and they've changed them. And well, let's just say they've gotten even worse just when we thought they can't get any worse. And there have been calls for several things, calls for cessation, but today we will be taking a look at the calls for foreign aid, foreign help, and of course state of emergency. We have an upsound to that regard, but we're still working on that, where a couple of personalities, including former President Olusegun Obasanjo, was also, quite optimistic, saying irrespective of what's happening in the country right now, he still believes in Nigeria. When it's time, we're going to play that clip. So let me have your view on call for help. I mean, it looks like we've used every available opportunity at our disposal. Nothing has worked. And it looked like a solution during the Goodluck Jonathan era, where they invited some persons, and the APC government came in and reaped the reward of it a little, where the presidency came out to say Boko Haram has been technically defeated. That's during the transition between the Jonathan government and the Buhari-led government, and everything went haywire, from there. So there were calls now for bring back those people, or someone else, some other agency or something, Right now we are grappling for straws. So what's your opinion on that?
Joseph, I will first of all ask you this. If you ask me to help you, knot your tie, okay? And I started to put the tie there. As I was trying to knot it, you were disturbing me from knotting it. Will I be able to help you?
No.
It is only when you ask me to help you and then you allow me to help you that you will be able to see help. Yes or no? I decided to give you that analogy on the premise where I'm coming from. Remember, I think you did an interview for me as regards when they were about to change, when people were clamoring for change of service chiefs and all that. And I said it on that day, and even on this platform and some other forum, that let the president change the service chiefs 1,001 times, and I'm still repeating it. It's still going to be the same old story, except it decides on his own volition to change his attitude, his philosophy towards security in this country, because he is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. In Yoruba, they always say something. That is, knife. It has two flat sides.
Yeah.
Throw it up 200 times, 1,001 times, it will be landing on a flat side, either you like it or not. All right? Now, let's go back to history. There was a time the Americans were here, even to assist us. What happened? They cried out. They said there is sabotage within the army. They said the moment they plan to do this, before even executing it, those people had already relayed them. I don't know whether you understand. So who are the one giving them information? 1, 2. The South Africans, sir, they were also here. Yeah. The same old story. Okay? 3. Let me also ask you, have we ever read in any newspaper ever since that some of these guys were caught and they were being disciplined? Have we ever? No. Okay? 4. Madam Taraba said something when he was being guarded by the so-called cabal. He said, you guys are not careful, I will spill the beans as regards what happened to Chibok girls. Yes or no? The same Balaje, the leader of the new PDP, he addressed a press conference. He addressed a press conference. So that I warn you guys against all these things the other time. That when the chiefs are down, you will not be able to curtail it. Okay? The same thing. Former Central Bank Deputy Governor, Dr. Malaifa. Abi?
Yes.
Now let's move forward. Let's move forward. This lady in CNN, what's her name? Aman. You remember what he said? See, these are issues. And that's what I am saying. Not until when the president, honestly speaking, stands up. It's not about talking. It's not about saying, yes, I want to see CAP. It's not about saying, yes, within the next 1 year, I want to. It is about walking the talk. So it is not about, it is not, look at it. You call me, you say I should come here. All right? And join you at this program. And I say yes. It's not about yes. It's about leaving my house to come to this place and present myself.
Okay, now we will get to that. Let me have your opinion first on that before we talk about the walking the walk instead of
walking the talk.
Walking the talk rather. Okay, let's hear you.
Thank you very much. These are issues that have been recurring and becoming recurring ugly decimal over the years. But I always talk about applying what we call the root cause analytical approach. How did we get here? How did we find ourselves in this quagmire of the security incubus? How? First and foremost, you realize that going by section 14 subsection 2b of the 1999 constitution as amended, the primary purpose of government is very fundamental: to guarantee the security of the citizens and their property.
Definitely.
And to provide for their welfare. And as Senator Ikuremadu, said just of recent, they have started losing the legitimacy of being in government because of this, insecurity that has been escalating over the years. One, when you have a set of people that come into government with their own agenda, not minding the constitutional provisions, using might is right. When you have a set of people coming into government believing that there is a superiority complex, when you have a set of people running an administration and not giving value for the sanctity and sacredness of human life, when you have a set of people coming into government and telling us one thing in terms of the huge and humongous amount of money that have been expended or more or less released to fight insecurity, and then what we have on ground now, you see the difference. The difference is very, very clear. So the issue here is this: there is crass culture of impunity. People do the wrong things, you slap them on the wrist, you tell them to go and sin no more. The others that are watching that have similar inclinations, they will
do the same.
Come and join and do the same, or even do worse. That's exactly what some of us have written, have been on air, have checked my columns. I've been saying that there is no moral ground. You cannot stand on any moral ground to tell me there is amnesty for any terrorist. See, Chairman Mao Zedong said it. If you are a leader, you have to be ruthless with those who are ruthless, and you have to be gentle with those who are gentle.
So, are you on the side saying that the call for foreign aid wouldn't do any harm?
Let them come, but what are we seeing? Let me give you some instances. There's a news item trending online now. A retired soldier saying it publicly that because he was identified as killing many of the bandits and the terrorists, they started attacking him. Sorry to say, we don't know exactly what happened for Nigerian Air Force men to bomb Nigerian soldiers when there is supposed to be communication between them. There is more to it. that meets the eye.
Okay, we'll look more into it. I understand the footage for the several personalities calling for a state of emergency, and of course for foreign aid is ready. Let's listen and watch.
You recall that I alerted the entire nation when Fulanis in 14 countries met in Yola and declared that except we repeal the prohibition of open grazing law, Benue will not know peace. And on the ground, I did say that I was targeted for elimination, to be assassinated, and that was done on me. It's only God that saved me. And I did say they are going after my people. So
Okay, you're still on to Editors Forum. Looks like that we're having some issues downstairs because there are a couple of persons, including even the one of Olusegun Obasanjo, of course some senators, clearly aware that we're trying to address in their own way the security issues. Okay, now you're talking about doing the right thing. You're talking about talking about the president walking the talk. So, what exactly do you? How is he supposed to walk the talk if calling for AIDS isn't in the picture?
Let me also take you back to just one history. There was a time in this country, the president asked the Inspector General of Police to move his headquarters from Abuja to Borno State, I think.
To Borno State.
3 days after, the guy was still frolicking in Abuja. And people started talking, and series of security breaches were happening there. And they were now asking him, oh boy, the president asked you to go to Borno now. What are you doing here? Yeah. He said he didn't know, he didn't hear. To the ears of the president, and the president didn't do anything. The president is supposed to sack him immediately. Walking the talk. Now, when people were saying sack the service chiefs, change them, they are supposed to this, they are supposed to that. After a very long time, when he decided to now relieve them, the very following day he sent them on a foreign mission. So that means that foreign mission you are sending, which is the first of its kind in history, is a kind of compensation for them to have that they have done your biddings. If not, why did you send them to foreign mission immediately? What qualifies them to go to foreign mission? These are issues that we need to look at. Now, we are now saying, Mr. President, sir, without you, let me give you this simple analogy. As we are here, there are rules of engagement. If you especially should breach it, you definitely know the consequences.
Definitely. But
you decide on your own to breach it, and your guy didn't do anything. The following day, the next Saturday, you still come here to break the same thing, and your guy is not saying anything. Who is behind you? And then NBC too is not saying anything. Then that means both you, your Oga, and NBC, they are both connivers.
They're lying in the same bed.
Do you understand? So the issue is, if immediately that thing happened, and your guy decide to investigate and then punish you, you won't do it again. But by the time you are not punished, somebody else will come here. Kelly can also come here and do the same thing, because they have known that your guy is not talking. So that means it will not be moving, and before you know it, God forbid bad thing, you know the implication. Do you understand? So what I'm saying is, for us to believe that the president is now walking the talk, it doesn't take us minutes to run these people up now. When we have drones, when we have Niger Comsat, when Americans they have Landsat, there are
also indications that they know some of these persons.
Exactly.
Even look at this. I have seen somebody whose telephone was stolen, and the person moved to the police station, and they just did some things, and they said this is where the person using this telephone is. So that means It's not that we don't have the technology. We have it. But we are not yet ready to deploy it, because along the line, some people somewhere, they are either pursuing their own agenda or they are gaining from all these infractions. So the president now need to come out, apprehend these people, punish them, so that people will not be blackmailing you unnecessarily. So it is a blackmail for you to say the president, who is commander-in-chief of the armed forces, is an accomplice. Okay. But the moment he's not doing what he's supposed to do, people are not the constitution is there now. Anyone that steals, anyone that maims, anyone that kidnaps, anyone that steals, anyone that kills, the constitution has stated what and what should happen to such people. But you are now turning around, you are talking of amnesty for what?
So what if this personnel, talking about the foreign help, come in and the federal government give them the power to work uninterrupted and
they're achieving results
autonomously,
and they're achieving results?
Yeah. So what if that happens? Which means the alleged saboteurs from the military wouldn't have much to do there, which means they have the freedom to do whatever they want.
Thank you very much. Let me say this. One issue is this: Nigerians must be ready to face the truth. Only the truth will set us free. That is one. Nigerians must come to understand that there are a set of people with their own agenda that is antithetical to both the constitutional provisions and what we call the national interest. And these people, they have the reins of power. Let me give you this example. What you have said is like an ideal that may never happen. Okay. For you to understand that, look at the nepotistic appointments, all in favor of the northern geopolitical zone. So who are those holding, those reins of power?
The security apparatus.
Security apparatus. You go to NNPC, go to across the spectrum of the security architecture that we have in Nigeria today. Yeah, from one. So yesterday I just sat myself down and said, I was thinking, when Mr. President sits down to hold the security meeting with the security chiefs, whom is he talking to? Whom is he talking with? Whom is he, brainstorming with? His own people. This is the basic truth which we must come to address. Let me explain. In my write-up, the one that was published yesterday and is going to be published tomorrow in different newspaper, is this: tackling insecurity the hard way, the only way. And the hard way means that, one, I said that Mr. President should rise above ethnic and religious and other sentiments. He should put the national interest first. And I asked, have you heard at any point that Mr. President called the Mieti Allah to order for their inflammatory statements? Have you heard? Not at all. Have you heard in any, in recent months, in any of the, whether of the south, east, south, west, even the north geopolitical zones, that those who have been apprehended belong to, the same ethnic group with him, and they have been more or less brought to book or speedy justice? It has not happened. So let's not deceive ourselves. The issue now is this: there is the need for the Mr. President and the so-called cabal and those who are interested only in power, to hold power for power's sake, to do inner, thinking. They have to reassess themselves. Can you imagine in Zamfara State, in 2 days, over 100 people were killed? And then, the man, Matawale said, what are we going to do? The first thing I said, any informant, and all those who are arming these bandits, terrorists, and all the criminals, pull down their houses. Then something else happened. The young man who was, behind the abduction of 300 Kankara, students, who was enjoying the amnesty program under that same Matawale, he said he was no more interested. He has returned to the forest. Ants are available to him again. In which other country will you have such impunity? Where do you place the lives of the killers above the lives of those who are being killed on daily basis? So the manner of having Africom coming from Stuttgart in Germany down to Nigeria here and things working is a tall order. I don't think it's going to work out until those who are interested and those who are benefiting. Because, let me tell you this. Military president Sani Abacha said it, that if insecurity persists for more than 48 hours, those in government are behind it.
Yes.
Let's not deceive ourselves, because I am somebody. If you look at my Facebook page, the first thing you see after my name is The Humanist. I'm somebody who I cherish life. I ask people, can you count the number of hairs on your head? Can you make one of the hairs? The body is made up of 73 trillion cells. Can you make one of them? You cannot. A situation whereby you don't value human life and you allow criminality to spread. I mean, call for the whole world to come here. Not to happen.
The same. Sorry.
Now, what about state of emergency quickly as we round up the...
It's the same thing. What do you mean by state of emergency? State of emergency is okay, this thing you want to tackle it that long. That's the meaning of state of emergency. It's nothing other than that, and that is why they are calling on foreign partners to come and assist them, and that is why he's talking. But I am saying, do state of emergency times 50. The same point. Do you understand? Not until all my oga said there, sum it up. Not until when the president himself, as the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, changes his philosophy, changes his orientation, changes his thoughts as regards security for this country. Not to let him bring the other guy from that general in America that led them to Iraqi war then, Powell. Let him bring thousands of Powell. Do you understand? Powell is a renowned military strategist in the world, Yeah. Let him bring thousands of Powell. The moment is not changing. That is philosophy. Nothing will happen.
Okay, we understand the visuals are ready now. Let's listen to them and watch them as we round up this topic, so we can go to our next.
We call that alerted the entire nation where Fulanis in 14 countries met in Yola and declared that except calling on federal government to take proactive steps to address this matter, they have refused to do. You can imagine. This is about an IDP camp. The adjoining villages here, with the real camp and the adjoining villages, are occupied by IDPs. And what else do you want them to do? You send these people away from their villages. They came here to take refuge. And today, they are being killed in this manner. Over 70 people have been killed in the last 2 weeks.
I can authoritatively confirm that the Boko Haram terrorists have mounted their flags in many of the villages they have captured, such as Aure, Alawa, and Magami. Inhabitants of these war-torn parts of the states have been abandoned and left to their fates, thereby compelling them to wallow in perpetual agony and abject misery. That the continuous security challenges and related attacks by bandits in towns, villages, and communities in Shiroro, Rafi, and Munya local government areas of Niger State.
I don't intend to re-emphasize the fact that any government that cannot protect its citizens, whether it is local government or state or federal, has lost legitimacy. Mr. President, the situation we found out in our country today is not irreversible. It is that the problem is that we have not been able to pay sufficient attention or take this matter seriously. Sri Lanka, Colombia, Israel, they've gone through this road and they overcome them.
If care is not taken, we are all going to be consumed in this place. Sitting here pretending to say that we are the people of the country until when one of us is killed before we know precisely what is the problem on ground. Our relations, our people cannot sleep. Every day killings here, killings there, killing over there. Kidnapping, raping. What do we do?
The nation gets bombed. Let us shout and call for falling support. I am a APC man and I've been supporting my party. But the president should get to know that it has gotten to a point that we who are supporters, who are members of the APC, we can no longer keep quiet. The president must rise to the occasion. You will not see the truth and you are afraid to say it because you will die. We must open, Mr. President. The nation is on fire. The president must rise to the occasion. It costs us nothing to get falling support. We must rise to the occasion. We must bring in people to save this country, or else we'll be consumed.
I was watching television last week. Somebody said National Assembly, they should lock themselves up and provide solutions to insecurity. Because somebody said, well, the conscience of the people. They don't know any other person. They don't know the villa. They know us. We are the targets. So, Mr. President, please, as a solution, apart from recruitment, mass recruitment into our armed forces and the police that will happen now, we should invite those that can help us to fight this warfare.
The bloodletting is just impossible. But Mr. President, it shows just a few things. One, the lack of political will to handle insecurity. There is no political will. None of us here can say we know the process that this government intends to use to battle insecurity. And in a country that is so ravaged that we're almost inching towards Syria, we must know what government wants to do about insecurity.
Discussions that we hold here, because this is the essence of Parliament. But we follow it up. We insist that our resolutions are implemented. Today, there is no level of arm of government that is not concerned about the security situation. Everybody is concerned. What is crucial is for us to bite the bullet. We must appropriate funds, even though that's not the only way out. That's not the only solution. But the military, particularly our security agencies in general, require additional manpower, so much manpower.
I am an incurable optimist about a number of things, but particularly about Nigeria. Ekpan agbo wa fi ni ko ni ja.